Welcome back, my darlings. Settle into the cushions and let the world outside fade away. Tonight, the golden book opens at a page worn by time. Many know of the girl in the red hood, but few have heard the story exactly as the Brothers Grimm wrote it long ago. Let us journey together into the deep, whispering woods. Stay close to me, for the shadows there are long. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and ancient meadows, there lived a sweet little maiden. She was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother, who seemed to live only for the child's happiness. There was nothing the old woman would not have given to her. Once she gave the child a little cap of red velvet, stitched with golden thread and lined with silk. It suited her so well and felt so soft against her curls that she would never wear anything else. And so she was always called Little Red Cap. One morning, the sun rose like a polished copper coin, casting long amber shadows across the cobblestones. Redcap's mother called her into the kitchen, where the air was thick and sweet with the smell of warm dough and mountain honey. "Come, Little Redcap," she said, handing her a heavy wicker basket. "Here is a piece of cake baked only this morning and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother. She is ill and weak, and they will do her heart good. Set out now, before the heat of the noon sun becomes too heavy. And remember, walk nicely and quietly. Do not run off the path, or you may fall and break the bottle, and then poor grandmother will have nothing at all." "I will take great care," promised Little Redcap, pulling her cloak tight around her shoulders. She kissed her mother goodbye and stepped out into the bright morning air. The forest was a place of ancient silent magic. Great oaks stood like gnarled giants, their branches reaching out like twisted fingers to touch the sky. The ground was a carpet of emerald moss, so thick and soft, it felt like walking on a queen's velvet rugs. Little Redcap loved the woods. She listened to the rhythmic tapping of the woodpeckers and watched the squirrels dancing among the silver birches. But as she entered the deeper thickets where the trees grew closer and the air turned cool and damp, a shadow detached itself from a tree. It was the wolf. Now, Redcap was an innocent soul, and she did not know what a wicked, cunning creature he was. She was not at all afraid of him. He was a magnificent beast of slate-grey fur, with a long, bushy tail that swept the ferns and eyes like two golden lanterns burning in the twilight. "Good day, Little Redcap," he said. His voice was as smooth as polished stone, vibrating with a deceptive warmth. "Thank you kindly, Wolf," she replied with a polite smile. "Whither away so early, Little Redcap?" "To my grandmother's house, sir." "And what have you got there, tucked so neatly in your apron?" "Cake and wine. Yesterday was baking day, so poor sick grandmother is to have something good to make her stronger and bring the color back to her cheeks." "And tell me, little one, where does your grandmother live?" "A good quarter of a league farther on in the wood. Her house stands under the 3 large oak trees. You cannot miss it, for the nut trees grow just below," said Little Redcap. The wolf thought to himself, What a tender young creature. What a nice, plump mouthful she would be. She will taste even better than the old woman. I must act craftily so as to catch them both. He walked for a short time by her side, his heavy paws making no sound on the forest floor. Then he whispered, "See, little Redcap, how pretty the flowers are about here. Why do you not look around? I believe you do not even hear how sweetly the little birds are singing. You walk so gravely, as if you were going to school, while everything else in the wood is merry and free." Redcap raised her eyes and paused. She saw the sunbeams dancing through the canopy, creating a golden web of light and shadow on the leaves. She saw wild bluebells, white wood anemones, and golden primroses nodding their heads in the breeze. "Suppose I take Grandmother a fresh nosegay," she thought. "The scent of the woods would surely cheer her." And so she ran from the path, deeper and deeper into the emerald heart of the forest. Whenever she picked one flower, she saw an even more beautiful one farther on, and she strayed further from the safety of the trail, lost in the beauty of the blossoms. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight as an arrow to the grandmother's cottage. He reached the heavy wooden door and knocked. "Who is there?" called a thin, frail voice. "It is little Redcap," replied the wolf, mimicking the child's sweet, high tone. "I am bringing cake and wine. Open the door, dear grandmother." "Lift the latch," called out the grandmother. "I am too weak, and I cannot get up from my bed." The wolf lifted the latch, the door flew open with a groan, and without saying a single word, he went straight to the grandmother's bed and swallowed her whole. Then he put on her silken night-clothes, dressed himself in her ruffled cap, and laid himself in the bed, drawing the heavy curtains close. He waited in the dim, dusty light of the cottage, his sharp ears twitching at every rustle of the wind. When little Redcap had picked so many flowers that she could carry no more, she remembered her grandmother and the wine. When she reached the cottage, she was surprised to find the door standing wide open. A strange, cold chill settled over her as she stepped inside. The room felt heavy and still, as if the house itself were holding its breath. She went to the bed and drew back the heavy curtains. There lay her grandmother, but her cap was pulled far over her face, and she looked very peculiar indeed. "Oh, grandmother," she whispered, her voice trembling, "what big ears you have." "The better to hear you with, my child," was the low, growling reply. "But grandmother, what big eyes you have." "The better to see you with, my dear." "But grandmother, what large, powerful hands you have." "The better to hug you with, my sweet." "Oh, but grandmother, what a terrible big mouth you have." "The better to eat you with." And scarcely had the wolf said this, than with one bound he was out of bed and swallowed up poor little Redcap in a single gulp. The wolf, his belly now full and heavy, fell back into the bed. He drifted into a deep sleep and began to snore so loudly that the window panes rattled and the birds in the oaks flew away in fright. A huntsman who had been tracking the silver wolf through the thickets happened to pass by the house. He thought to himself, "How the old woman is snoring. I must see if she is in need of help." He stepped into the room, and when he came to the bed, he saw the wolf lying there. "Do I find you here, you old sinner?" said he. "I have long sought you." He took his hunting scissors and with a steady hand began to cut open the stomach of the sleeping beast. After 2 snips, he saw a bright red cap shining, and after 2 more, the little girl sprang out crying, "Ah, how frightened I have been! How dark it was inside the wolf!" And then the aged grandmother came out alive also, though she could scarcely breathe. Redcap quickly fetched great heavy stones from the garden. They filled the wolf's belly with them, and when he awoke and tried to spring away, the stones were so heavy that his legs collapsed. He fell down and passed on the spot. But listen, my darlings, for the story does not end there. The Grimm brothers tell us that some time later, when Redcap was again taking cakes to her grandmother, another wolf spoke to her and tried to entice her from the path. But this time, the girl had grown wise. She went straight on her way and told her grandmother that she had met a wolf who had offered her a greeting, but who had such wickedness in his eyes that she feared he would have eaten her on the spot. "Come," said the grandmother, "we will shut the door so that he cannot come in." The wolf prowled around the house and finally jumped onto the roof. He intended to wait until Redcap went home in the evening, so he could follow her and devour her in the darkness. But the grandmother saw what he was up to. There stood in front of the house a great stone trough. "Redcap," she said, "fetch the bucket. I boiled some sausages yesterday. Take the water in which they were boiled and pour it into the trough." Redcap carried bucket after bucket until the great trough was quite full. The smell of the sausages rose up to the roof and reached the wolf's nose. He sniffed and peered down, stretching his neck so far that he could no longer keep his footing. He began to slip, and he slid down the roof straight into the deep trough, where he drowned. And little Redcap went joyfully home to her mother, and from that day on she never strayed from the path again, for she had learned that even the most beautiful forest hides shadows, and true courage is found in being wise. So you see, my little ones, the Golden Book is closed for tonight. The moon is high above the trees, and the forest is quiet once more. Close your eyes, breathe in the scent of the night, and dream of the sunlit path. Good night, my darlings. Good night.